Hi everybody, so I'm going to demonstrate how to make a fixed, accurate dosed capsules of emeramide or OSR or NBMI, depending how you want to call it. Here it is in my little vial. I'll name the things you will need. The first thing you will need is a cap and quick. This one indicates 000, but it's actually a single zero size capsule, which is the most common size capsule. So you should really get a single zero capsule maker. This model makes 50 capsules at a time, as you can see. So we'll be making 50 capsules. And today I will be going for a dose of 5 milligrams per capsule. So that'll be a total of 250 milligrams. And we'll be weighing this with this tiny, inexpensive plastic scale, which goes up to 4 grams total maximum. So if you make 50 capsules, that's 800 milligrams if you're, or wait, 80 milligrams times 5, that's 400, 4,000, yes. 80 milligrams per capsule would be the maximum you would be able to reach with this, but you know, for most people, that's probably going to be enough. So, and yeah, so we'll need 2 bowls, a small measuring cup, a container for the finished capsules, some measuring spoons, empty gel caps, of course. You will need a pale colored powder. I'm using this banana flavored protein powder that I don't use, so I use it for making capsules. And that's going to be the main filler, because you need to fill your capsules in order for them to be properly dosed. And you also need a darker powder, which you will use in small quantities, for which I use cocoa powder. And as you undoubtedly guessed, these capsules, you don't really taste capsules, but they will smell like banana and chocolate, which is, you know, a pretty good combo. So it'll be pretty delicious smelling, at least. This has the added benefit that whenever I have all my supplements mixed in and I forget whether I took my emeramide or not, I only have to smell them, and I know if it smells like banana and chocolate that it's in there. So and you will also need a sock, a clean sock. I will show you later. This comes at the end, but it's very useful to have. So a sports, fairly thick sock like this is the best. So we'll start by separating the capsules into the 2 bowls. Actually, in 1 bowl and in the cap and quick. So you grab a handful. Usually I pour them into one of the bowls and separate, put it in there. And you do this 50 times. But you will see this is much easier than measuring 5 milligrams precisely 50 times. And the kind of scale that will allow you to measure 5 milligrams accurately is expensive. So it's more work and it's more expensive to actually measure 5 milligrams at a time than to make capsules like this, which is basically a sort of amateur-ish version of the method that pharmaceutical companies use to make their own capsules. So it's pretty good. It's not the greatest, but it's plenty good enough to say that you have, say, between 4.8 and 5.2 milligrams per capsules, which is, you know, all you need really. It's not like you're going to overdose if you take 0.2 milligram too much, right? Now, once you've pretty much filled all of the capsule bottoms into the cap and quit machine, you can just grab another bottom and test every hole, because these are clear capsules. They're hard to see. So you want to make really sure that all the holes are filled with capsule bottoms. Otherwise, you'll just end up pouring all your powder down one hole. See, one was not filled here. You'll just end up pouring your powder in here and screw up your whole batch, because if you don't have enough powder, then oops, there was another one missing here. See? And so if you put all your powder down one hole that has no capsule bottom, what happens is you lose a lot of powder, then you can't fill the capsules correctly or evenly, and your dosing is completely wrecked. So, okay, this is done. We close this, and the capsule tops are in here. So now we have to make a mixture that's going to fill the volume of all these 50 capsules pretty much to the top, but have no excess, and then have the right quantity of evenly mixed amaramide in this powder so that each capsule is properly dosed. So how do we do this? Well, we know that these capsules contain, these are size 0, they contain 0.68 milliliter each, or 0.68 cc each. So times 50, that's 34 milliliters or 34 cc of powder volume. So what we want to do is mix 250 milligrams of amaramide in 34 milliliters of powder and mix it thoroughly. I think I forgot to mention this bladed coffee grinder. That's what we use for mixing. Mix it in that and then just make the capsules with it. Basically, that's all that's left to do. So, how do we do this? Well, take the small measuring cup, take this measuring spoon, which has a 15 milliliter tablespoon. Sometimes a tablespoon is 12 milliliter, sometimes it's 15. It's easier when it's 15. It's much easier if you know exactly how many milliliters your tablespoon is, because we want 35 milliliters total powder volume. So protein powder, here's 15 milliliters as per the size of the spoon. Here's another 15 milliliters, approximately. I mean, at the end, it doesn't really matter that you get the quantity that accurate. I mean, within 1 milliliter is plenty fine, because you can tamp down inside the capsules. And actually, it's better if you tamp down than if you have a fluffy capsule filler, because once it's tamped down, most of the quantity is equal everywhere. So if you have a little bit of fluff on top and the fluff is not evenly distributed, then that's a fairly insignificant amount of powder. So we have 30 milliliters of light colored powder, and now we're going to add some dark colored powder, and you will wonder why. And the reason for this, so now we're at 35 milliliters. You see, I like to go a little bit on top, above. And the contrast here of color is very important. The reason is that when you mix, how do you know if it's mixed correctly? Seeing the 5 milligrams or the 250 milligrams of amaramide in there is going to be impossible. But if you have a dark and a light colored powder, then mixing them means that, yes, you guessed it, you know when it's evenly mixed. All right. So here's the little scale for measuring 250 milligrams. And it's it's in balance. So let's go. We set it to 0.25 grams, which is right here. It might be too small to see, but there's a neat 1/4 that's written there. So here we go, amaramide. Oops. Oh, that's too much. So this is how you do it. You got to play around with it a little bit. Add, remove, add, remove. Oops, this looks like it's really close. It's not quite enough yet. Oof, that's almost perfect. See how sensitive it is? I put an almost visually insignificant amount in there, and you know, the scale moved markedly. So this is surprisingly accurate, these little things. So here's 1/4 gram of amaramide. Doesn't look like much, and that goes in there as well. Okay, so I could never tell when this would be perfectly well mixed unless I have the dark color powder in there. So we put this inside the bladed coffee grinder like this. Then we mix it. I like to shake it around in the grinder as I make the blades go, and that ensures like everything is thoroughly mixed. And you will see that everything is of an even color, fairly dark, a lot darker than it was to begin with. So that's a good indication that everything is well blended together. So we have right now 250 milligrams of amaramide in a quantity of powder that will fill these capsules and a little bit more. So we can just dump that on there carefully so you don't want to spill it everywhere. And I can smell the nice banana and chocolate aroma. It's actually more banana than chocolate, but you know, that's not really surprising. So what you do is you spread it around and fill the capsules. This is very fluffy powder. Protein is very fluffy, and so it looks like there's a whole bunch left over. And it's true, there is a whole bunch left over. But then you use the tamper here, and you tamp the capsules, and all of a sudden it looks like there's not that much excess. So you continue filling them, you'll tamp them again, and you do that so as many times as it takes to not have any left over. See, it taps really deep each time. And it's all going in there. I spilled a few little milligrams of fluff next to it. No problem. See, now it's almost all in there. There's only a tiny bit left, so you really don't want to tamp hard next time. Just let the tamper fall. And this should be it. Continue filling. There's actually a few milligrams left, so let's give it another tiny tamp. And every time we tamp, what we do is we even out the quantity that's in there. So Right now you might think, well, these last few milligrams are not evenly spread, and you're right. But that means there's a few micrograms worth difference between between capsules, because it's only 5 milligrams per capsule. So if there's maximum 1% difference between one and the other, so that's 4.95 milligrams to 5.05 milligrams. So, it might not be good enough for the pharmaceutical company, but for me, it is plenty good enough. So remove the supports, push this down. Now all I have to do is cap them quick. No, that's the name of the thing. Just put the hats on. And we're down to the finishing touches after this. So you might think, well, this takes a while and it's a bit of a doing, but measuring 5 milligrams accurately, that's a lot harder. First, it's gonna require you a scale that, to be dependable, is gonna be at least $100, whereas this one is like $3, and this you can get for less than 10. So it's a $15 setup. Well, not counting the coffee grinder, which you can use for grinding coffee and spices and all kinds of things. So it hardly counts as a capsule making expense. So here we have the capsules. There's a little bit of powder surrounding it, but it's really infinitesimal quantities, or very, very, very low amounts of powder, which means in terms of amaramide, it is truly insignificant. So pour that back into one of the bowls, and now you have your capsules, but they're kind of coated in powder. I mean, this powder is banana flavored for the most part, so it's not really a drama, but it's still kind of messy. I mean, sometimes my hands are a little bit damp when I take my supplements. Just wash my hands from, after eating to be able to take my supplements. They're damp, and then this is going to get all sticky. So you want to remove all this powder that sticks on there. And first I transfer them into another bowl to ensure that any powder that sort of fell along with the capsules is not entering my cleaning device, which is the sports sock. Yes, you put your capsules inside the sock, and then you shake them, and the inner part of the sock just wipes them clean of powder. And then you pour them back. Make sure there's no capsules left in it. And now you have completely clean capsules, accurately dosed, that are going to be faithfully getting you rid of your toxic heavy metals. So yeah, I'm gonna put this inside this pill vial, and I'm good for 7 weeks now, because I dose one of these a day. I'm increasing my dose from 3 to 5 milligrams, see how that works. Hopefully I can handle it, but if I can't, I'll dose every other day, and then I'll be good with this batch for 14 weeks, which is plenty long. I hope you enjoyed this. See you in the group.